Good morning and welcome to the 8:15 Daily Operations Weather Brief. This morning, some low clouds and areas of scattered showers are going to be our highlights today, with our winds light to moderate, modest, and expected to be increasing throughout the day. Unfortunately, no real improvements are going to be expected through the working day today, although those precip chances do look a bit higher through the morning in comparison to those as we approach the nighttime hours. And highs for today only look to break into the low 70s, as daytime sunshine will never really get a good chance to get in and bump up those numbers. Overall, we're going to see a dreary day with some breezy conditions expected to start building in here soon through the early day into the afternoon, unfortunately. Now, looking at our most recent surface analysis chart, a roughly 1,030 millibar surface high pressure system is centered over the Atlantic Canada, with its ridge extending southwest along the Appalachians, Appalachians, and low pressure currently sits offshore of North Carolina, with a nearly stationary frontal boundary lingering off the North Carolina and Virginia coast. Now, that frontal boundary has been the primary driving force, if you will, behind these light to scattered showers and those low clouds this morning with some drizzle. And we've been seeing that throughout the morning and overnight periods, and that's expected to continue throughout the day today, with no real significant chances for heavy rain, although some areas further down south, well away from us, have seen about a quarter inch over the past few hours. And despite our northerly surface winds, more so northerly, we do have northeasterly flow just aloft, and that should prevent clearing today, with some highs only reaching the low 70s and the lingering showers and low clouds expected into tonight, with some slow clearing expected as we approach those early morning hours just before sunrise tomorrow. Now, following today, as we move into Thursday, we'll see strong high pressure centered over Ontario move east-southeast, more so into Quebec on Thursday, and that will slowly work to bring some dry air southward as the low pressure system off the coast here begins moving further off into the Atlantic, and we'll see our afternoon highs in the mid-70s. Now, Thursday night will be partly cloudy, if not mostly clear, with lows in the low 60s, and that will be followed by largely dry conditions on Friday as we begin to see that surface high ridge south into the region, bringing a nice day with some scattered to broken, likely cumulus fields developing in the afternoon, and highs in the mid-70s once again. As for our current conditions here on base, we currently have an overcast layer at 500 feet and 3 statute miles of visibility, with winds out of the north-northeast at about 10 knots and a temperature of 69 degrees and a relative humidity of 97%. Taking a look at our satellite imagery from this morning, we can see pretty easily where that stationary boundary and frontal boundary is set up just off the coast there. That's where our highest concentration of cloud cover is, and when we see that daylight filter come through, we can see all those low-level clouds that are expanding over the mid-Atlantic region and are expected to continue doing such. Moving on to the most recent model run of this morning. This is the HER, and it is not the 24-hour loop, but one of the more recent runs. And we can see here that generally some scattered showers and the precipitation field is going to linger over our area, if you will, for a majority of the day, and then start clearing out in the later afternoon. Not fully clearing out, but those chances definitely go down just a little bit. And then this is the HER on the 24-hour loop, where we can then see that our precip chances and the likelihood of those showers continuing goes down, and we see an overall clearing effect as we move into the overnight and early morning hours. That brings us to the 24-hour risk chart for today, where we'll continue to see those light scattered showers through the early morning and into the early afternoon. Generally, we start to see those chances taper off as we move through the afternoon into the evening, and then through the evening it's more of a story of low clouds and some ever so slightly breezy conditions, and then we'll start to see some overall clearing early tomorrow morning. We have orange for the early chances of precip, and then tapering off to a yellow in the early afternoon into late afternoon time frame. Our winds today are anticipated to begin building in here, and around noon in the time period just after reaching their peaks as far as the gusts go, getting close to those wind advisory criteria, so putting an orange on the risk chart. And then for our ceilings, we're currently seeing ceilings at 500 feet, so the likelihood that they dip below 500 is pretty high. And as of currently, in a change from a few minutes ago, the visibility has dropped down to a mile and a quarter as of right now. So we're right on the edge of that criteria, and we'll continue to see that kind of flip-flop between stages throughout the day today. And as for our short-term risk chart, a lot less color on the board here, all greens for the next 2 days. Thursday, we can anticipate partly to mostly cloudy conditions with a high of 76. Thursday night, mostly clear skies with a few clouds here and there, low of 60, and Friday, partly cloudy and a high of 76. That is going to conclude the 8:15 Daily Weather Operations Brief. I will be back at 10 o'clock with the 7-day outlook, and hope everyone has a great day.